Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the Technical Trader. Thursday, August the 18th. These are the charts of the day. I'm going to talk about both. Well, these are stocks on the long side, but they're long, ultra short ETFs. I want to give you an idea of what they look like here. And also, I'm going to go over a few stocks that have been acting pretty well in terms of how they're holding up and relative strength wise. Could be interesting stocks to keep an eye on for whatever next bull phase we may get and whenever we get it. In front of you, you'll see we have the TVIX, which was one of the big ones today, jumping 1566 or 41%. Strong volume too, but you can see that they had the big thrust from the 17 range up until the mid 40s over the past couple of weeks, then came past prior weeks. It came down in about a 6-7 day flag or wedge type consolidation. And then today gapped up big time and exploded, opening at 45.40 and running as high as 56.46 from about 11-point run after the gap, which is impressive. Now you can see lateral price resistance going back several months up around the low 60s, and that would be my target should we get a follow through to the downside tomorrow, but you may want to consider taking profits in that zone if we do get there. Up next is the VXX. We'll take a close look at that one as well. You can see that over the last several months, the stock it was in a dramatic downtrend, reaching 20 at one point in July. Suddenly spurting to a run up into the 40, well, it went up from about 20 up to about the mid 30s, then formed this little flag. Today it gapped up, sharply ran from 36.59 to 41.37, closed at 40.47, up 6.94 at 21%. But the volatility is increasing here, so you can see the lateral price resistance here and then here. If the market does extend to the downside, I would look for something up in the 47 range as a potential target. TZA, another one that had come down sharply, based out, double bottom, then exploded from the low 30s to the near 70 range. Then it came down sharply, tested the breakout point, and bounced, and then today gapped up with abandon, jumping 8.25 or 17.5%. Target in the 64 to 68 zone up here. That'll be my target if the market does move forward to the downside. FAZ, similar amount of action. You'll see that a base pattern and a breakout occurred a week and a half ago. Stock exploded from the mid 40s up to the 80 plus range. Fantastic double here in a week and a half. Sharp pullback took it back down to the mid 50s, which held the 21-day moving average, and then bounced. And then today again gapped up 823 or 14%. And you can see that this spike high here near these highs here will probably be resistance to any further movement should the market fall down. This may retest the mid 70s and then perhaps even the low 80s. Up next is the EDZ, which based out and had, after double bottoming and triple forming a base in this area, exploded through, ran up to this gap from September of last year, came down very hard after moving from about the 16.5 range up to 29 and change, pulled right back to the breakout point, and then today snapped back 304 or 14%. If it does continue to snap back based on further downside market pressure, look for a retest of that 29.30 zone for the EDZ. Now the DRV had a really monstrous snapback as well. You can see the movement breakout here that ran it through the 12 range and exploded it up to 20.5, 21 zone. A very sharp pullback ensued. But today, a snapback of $1.61 at 13.5%. Probably the weaker of the ultra shorts, but at this point, if it does take off here, I would look for a retest at 16. The BGZ finally took a move from 32 to 57, and it's just a week and a half. Pulled right back down to the breakout point. And here, across that level, tested it, where the 21-day moving average was also, and bounced sharply. You'll see that today was up 563 at 13%. So any further movement, we could see 53 and then 57. That would be my targets on a short-term basis. A couple stocks that have been acting well recently. STAA, you can see this explosive move. And then today it pulled all the way back down to 627 before spiking back up to 671. And that was unchanged on the day. So a very, very nice session and great relative strength and good technicals for this one. If you step back a little bit further, you'll see this broke out of a large year-long basing pattern and then pulled back. An ATR, another one that's been acting great of late. It had a big run from the 8.5 to 20 range, and then pull back down to 15.5 before bouncing. But it's been bouncing back and forth in the zone and consolidating very nicely while the market falls down. This needs to be watched for something that may move up toward past 21 into the low to into the mid 20s. ZAGG is next. That stock's held up very well, although it has pulled back here. You can see how the long-term pattern looks very good. And support is around 11 on this one with resistance about the 17 range. EXK, also acting well. It's a silver stock. I wanted to point that out. It had a big run up, pulled back, pop, and right now it's forming a big wedge pattern. Looking for about 17 on the stock if it does take off after, and if and when it takes out 13.5. ELGX, another one holding up very well, although again it pulled back here in the last couple sessions, which is normal. The overall pattern acts very well, and then from there it could move once again. And lastly, today's MyTech, one of my favorites, holding up very well, although it was down 4% today. This is one beautiful chart pattern, and a breakout above here could take it higher. That's it for this evening. Have a good weekend.